Ladies and gentlemen, Trump just outsmarted all of the DC rhinos. And this is a serious conversation that we need to have because I told you guys Republicans are the worst. Now we know the type of challenge we have in the Senate or in Congress when it comes to Democrats, but this just proves how bad Republicans really are. Establishment Republicans. That's why they're called rhinos. Now, Trump just threw a major curveball that literally has all of these people pooping themselves, for lack of a better word there. So, first, I want to play this video by Marjorie Taylor Greene because she's basically, calling out Thom Tillis. Now, I don't always agree with Marjorie Taylor Greene, but she nailed it. I am furious with Congress. And when the primary rolls around, I am voting against Senator Thom Tillis and the rest of the rhinos on my ballot. Why? Well, because they basically just grouped up together to block Trump's nominee, to block, again, rhino traitors, blocked an appointee who would have been great, right? Our president appoints a real killer. Judge Janine is going to clean up the mess in DC like a wood chipper on steroids. Again, ladies and gentlemen, they deny Trump's original pick, which was Ed Martin, right? Why don't they want him? Why didn't they want him? And as I read here, blocked. Senator Thom Tillis refused to allow Ed Martin's confirmation to be voted by the full Senate. As a result, Trump will be naming someone new, and he has named someone new, their worst nightmare, Judge Janine Pirro. Now, Judge Janine, we are a fan of. We've done multiple videos on her. Trump says, I am pleased to announce that Judge Janine Pirro will be appointed interim United States Attorney for the District of Columbia. Janine was Assistant District Attorney for Westchester County, New York, and went on to serve as County Judge and District Attorney, where she was the first woman ever to be elected to those positions during her time in office. Janine was a powerful crusader for victims of crime. Her establishment of the Domestic Violence Bureau in her prosecutor's office was the first in the nation. She excelled in all ways. In addition to her legal career, Janine previously hosted her own Fox News show, Justice with Judge Janine, for 10 years and is currently co-host of The Five. We're going to miss her on The Five. We watch The Five all the time, her arguing with Jessica Tarloff, one of the highest rated shows on television. Janine is incredibly well qualified for this position and is considered one of the top district attorneys in the history of the of the state of New York. She is in a class by herself. Congratulations, Judge Janine. So again, Ed Martin was blocked by Thom Tillis. Thom Tillis, Republican, rhino, but it's much deeper than that, and that's why I want to play this video by Marjorie Taylor Greene, because Marjorie Taylor Greene has been calling out all the rhinos. Marjorie Taylor Greene is becoming one of my favorites. She's calling out everybody, foreign agents in Congress. Say what you want about her. She's stepping up her game. Take a listen.
The Republican Party is not the party of Trump. The Republican Party is still has the establishment. Like I said, they are clinging to it, and they are wanting to ride through his second administration like a speed bump, get past Trump and move on back to what they care about: foreign wars, spending untold amounts of the American people's dollars. They don't care about Doge. They're annoyed with Doge. That's cutting programs that they receive donations for from lobbyists that go all over the hill. I think I really wanted to sound the alarm because the wake-up call needs to be given, and the message needed to be.
Yep. Yeah. By the way, she said a word there. Neocons, right? Does it remind you of something? Warmongers, foreign wars. This is really what this all comes down to. I'm telling you, Republicans are very powerful in Congress and in the Senate. They don't really agree with Trump on many things.
delivered right here to the people that I work with here in Washington is that, look, we are paying attention. And if I'm upset and speaking out about it, you better believe people at home are furious.
So your frustration isn't with President Trump, your frustration with Congress, and then your frustration, correct me if I'm wrong, some of the people that have maybe been allowed to get in and speak into his ear?
Yes. Oh yeah, no, I'm not frustrated with President Trump. I love the president.
Yeah, so Laura Loomer, I'm not a fan of Laura Loomer, but I am a fan of her journalism. I'll tell you that. I used to feel the same way about Marjorie Taylor Greene, but she's striking me as somebody that's really just keeping it real. She's well balanced. She calls out both sides. I love people that call out their side and the other side, and they call all the bullshit out. They call themselves out. I love that. That's what I love. That's called being real. But what she's doing here is just exposing what the Republicans are. They're all pretty much rhinos. They have a system. They all insider trade. This is what Democrats are. This is what Republicans are. And again, there's an effort now because of Thom Tillis. Again, this is the sentiment now. This is what the sentiment needed to be from the beginning. Chicago Ray says, letter to Thom Tillis and Bill Cassidy. I will do everything I can to support any candidate that runs against you two traitors. I will donate directly to their campaigns. I appreciate the fact that Trump doesn't kiss your effing asses for your votes because that's what you dirtbags, want. That's what you want. Time to drain the swamp out of the Republican Party, and it starts by showing these two dirtbags the door. And again, these two guys are basically responsible for Ed Martin and the nomination for interim U.S. attorney. And when you search up, Ed Martin, what's going on with Ed Martin? Why isn't Ed Martin? Why wouldn't they be a vote for this guy? Well, let's go do some research here, right? Ed Martin, who had a incident earlier, and let me actually show you here, right here. There was an incident that Ed Martin spoke of. Here we go. This is the one. This is the one right here. I found it. We got to be careful with this though. Here's what's really going on. Thom Tillis didn't want this to come to light. Ed Martin was focusing on the DC J6 pipe bomber case. The story will all unravel from this being exposed. Is this why Ed Martin was blocked? Is this why? Well, let's take a look at Ed Martin's energy toward that story.
One of the investigations we've reopened and put energy into is the pipe bomber. A pipe bomber, it's insane. It's insane that in the greatest country in the world, we have two pipe bombs at our two largest political parties. We don't know who it is. It's insane. And I will say, Bongino and I have hyper, put focus and resources on this, and they got a bunch going on the invest.
You don't see Thom Ellis or anybody else, Thom Tillis or Bill Cassidy with his energy toward what really happened on that day. I would love to get answers for what happened on that day. So again, Trump goes around, maneuvers, drops a bomb, brings in Judge Jeanine, which is even better for a lot of people. Trump is just nominating Judge Jeanine here. And when you look at who Judge Jeanine is, she calls out the BS like never before. So now we know that there was basically a huge exposure here. We know that Republicans are more dirty than you can possibly think of. We know what's up. But you then if you're Trump, you then say, okay, cool. I'm not going to kiss your asses for these votes. Cool. I'll bring somebody better. I'll nominate Ed Martin for another position, and I'll bring in this bulldog right here.
Speak to us anymore. The Democrats are the party of hate. The Democrats are the party that said he's a Putin asset, he's a Russian puppet. The Democrats are the ones who signed affidavits and lied to a court so that they could spy on a president of the United States. The Democrats are the ones who said that we're destroying democracy. Let me tell you something about Donald Trump. Let me tell you something about Donald Trump. Donald Trump is one of the most generous people you'll ever meet. He does all kinds of things that people have no idea about. And by the way, if he were selfish, he'd take his money and tell all of us to go F ourselves based upon the way this country has treated him. This guy got shot.
About him
Don't
saying
tell me
Jews
he's selfish.
are absolute fools.
Let me tell you something. Donald Trump is the only one who moved the embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem. He's the only one who got the Abraham Accord.
Why aren't Jews voting for him?
I'm not going to fight with you anymore, Jessica. But I know the man, and the facts rely
I can hear
anything you say.
Apparently, I have stirred up a little something, Jesse.
Yeah, so that's the type of energy that Trump is bringing.
No.
That's the type of energy that he's bringing now. So he throws a complete curveball, and now the fight against the RINO Republicans begins. It's going to be very interesting. Again, I'm an outsider. I'm just watching. I'm very entertained by this. Also, I'm not just entertained, but I'm also trying to just get educated. Okay, show me. I want to see. I want to see what's going on. We want less crime. We want less government. We want more power, really, to the people of the United States of America. We want less of whatever the hell is going on in D.C. when it comes to RINO Republicans and when it comes to this crazy uniparty stuff that's going on. Really, it's not a conspiracy anymore. We know that the uniparty is a real thing. We know these people, they don't work for the American people. It's a whole business. People are making millions of dollars in Congress and in the Senate. We know what's going on over there. So we got somebody, again, we'll see what's up. How are you guys feeling about this? Judge Janine comes in. Trump says, F it. Okay, I'm not going to cry for your votes. You're going to block my guy, but I'm going to bring somebody even better with a bigger reputation. And we'll see what happens. Ladies and gentlemen, let me know how you guys feel in the comments, and I'll see you guys on the next one.